Guys, oh, that's some serious sun coming behind my head. And I am in the vehicle today for the Shay Show. I had to take my daughter to a little datey date, 13, getting to know another little 13-year-old. And of course, who cares about my schedule? It only cares about hers. It's all right. Anyway, you guys, welcome to the Shay Show. My name is Shay. I am so looking forward to today. Today, I get to speak with a young lady named Nique Miller. Her name is actually Dominique, but I think she goes by Nique. Okay, here she is. Okay, I can't wait to go get her. I'm going to get her right now. So it might just take a second. That's all right. Waiting on you.
Do you see me?
Hopefully.
I see you.
Can you hear me, Nique?
Yeah.
Nique.
Do you see me? Connection or... Yeah, I can hear you. You keep... I don't know if...
Can I ask you a question, Nique? Can you hear me? Okay, Nique, are you in a place in your house that has kind of disrupted? Can you walk around your house to see if you can get better reception somewhere, please? Is there any way that, because your friend is sleeping. Ooh. It's because sometimes people, like, I have a place in my house that I don't get the best reception. Is there a place in your house where you have better reception than you have right now? Because you're very pixelated for me. And I can imagine I must be sticking. Okay. I can exit you out. Okay. Can I exit you out? Hey, you guys, just wait a few more minutes. Nique is coming on. We're just having issues with our connection right now. As you can tell, I'm sitting here in my Volkswagen Bug. And Nique Miller is in, I believe is how you better pronounce it. Anyway, okay, bag signal. Okay, so what I'm hoping is that she's going to go to a different section of her home where, that has better reception. I know that you guys can see me because typically the clarity with which I see myself is what others can see me. Okay. Oh, yes, she is beautiful. Hold on. Yes, she is the wait. Nique, can you? Okay. You guys, so sorry about this. She's coming. This is going to be awesome. She is worth the wait, y'all. She's worth the wait. And I know you're here for her, as you should be. I'm just Shay. She's the jam. I mean, like, you guys saw some of her, like, crazy, amazing moves. Let's see. Let me see if she's here. She's not here yet. Okay, there she. Let's see. Nique, okay, I just accepted. You're going live with you. It says connecting right now, so we should be connecting any moment.
I can see you keep freezing.
It is so much better. Can you see me and hear me? Oh, this is great. I have one other person. You know what, Nique? I'm going to try to is. My name is Shay. I have not had the pleasure of meeting you yet in person. Only met you here on the gram, and the gram has allowed me to meet some pretty remarkable
Oahu.
people. Nique, can you tell everybody where you are on this
I live
planet?
in Waikiki. Yeah, now I can. I think. Can you hear me? Okay. Okay. Yeah, I live in Honolulu, Hawaii. I'm a professional surfer.
I can hear you perfectly.
My full name, like you were saying, is Dominique. But I actually go by Nika. Or you can say Nique, but generally I go by Nika. My grandma, who, yeah, I'm half black, half Mexican, and so my grandma used to call me Dominica, and so my family just started saying Nika. And then, yeah, I generally go by Nika. I know some people prefer to say Dominique because it sounds prettier, or I don't mind if people call me Nique. But yeah, generally Nika. But yeah, I live on Oahu. And like I said, I'm a professional surfer. I compete on the long world tour and the stand-up world tour. And yeah. I started like as a late teenager. I learned on the mainland, and then I moved to Hawaii. I got a scholarship actually to run cross country and track at University of Hawaii, and then I got a lot better at surfing living here. The best surfers in the world live here, and especially in Waikiki, there's so many really good longboarders. So I never had a lot of money, so I didn't have money to afford a coach or surf lessons, which I do recommend. If you are going to try learning how to surf, I would definitely recommend doing a surf lesson first. But how I got better was I just would kind of just pick out the people in the lineup in the ocean. The lineup is like when you paddle out to the ocean, there's different surf breaks, and then you go there and surf. And I would just kind of find the best surfer and just kind of watch them, see where they sat, see what they did, and then just kind of follow, like not follow them, but just kind of like just observe, yeah, and just kind of do what they did. And I'm very competitive and very driven, so eventually I just kept getting better and better and better. And then yeah, now I compete on the world tour. I started first off doing like local contests here on Oahu, until I got like more confident, and just so I knew what to expect, because I never grew up doing surf contests. I've always been an athlete, really good runner, really good lacrosse player. So I love I was a attack wing, sometimes center, even though I'm pretty tiny. I was pretty good at doing the draws, so that's why they had me as center, even though I was really small. But yeah, I love scoring. Yeah. I'm very.
Ooh, that's because you're aggressive. You made it happen. Yeah. Nique, first of all, I want to tell you something. You got these beautiful eyes that I cannot not mention. Whoa,
okay.
Whoa! I did not realize. I knew you were beautiful, but damn, look at those eyes.
No.
Nika,
my mom actually, she never knew how
Nika, are
to
you from a
swim.
family of surfers?
I was raised mainly around my Mexican side of my family, and my mom doesn't know how to swim. And so she always felt really like sad and left out whenever they would go to the pool or the ocean, and kind of embarrassed too. So she wanted to make sure when she had me and my little brother that we knew how to swim, and that we were really, really good in the water, and that we just never felt left out like that. So I really attribute a lot to her, because if it wasn't for her making me be so like little like water kid, I probably, and plus I'm a Pisces, so I just already feel like I was always destined to be around the water. But yeah, I owe a lot to my mom. And the same thing, like I said, growing up, a lot of my family members were migrant workers, which if people don't know, that's like farm hands, and so I never grew up with a lot of money, and my mom raised me and my brother by herself. Like I said, my dad kind of dipped out of the picture. So
Was not a part of that
No,
picture?
I just always felt left out.
Did
know,
you ever
kind
feel
of
a
like,
sense of
wow, I
embarrassment
wish I
about
had a
that,
dad. Like
Nika?
playing sports and stuff. Like, wow, I wish I had a dad that like was there to kind of like coach me or be like when you see like dad coaches, not dad coaches, but your dad, like, because my mom, even though she was very supportive and very like, go Nika, I love you, like, I'm
Yes.
proud of you, like,
Yes. Yes.
like, she
Girl.
never really quite kind of got it, like, sports wise, like, and I just always wish, especially my dad, because apparently he was a really good track and football player and all this stuff. He was really good athletically, and I just wish I would have had someone like that there mentoring me. But it's fine, because to me, I grew up how I am now, and I'm thankful for everything in my past. I don't really like to talk about it too much, but I'm very grateful, and I'm grateful for my mom showing me like hard work, and that, like, she was willing to sacrifice everything for me and my brother. Even now, before I had sponsors, she had to take out money out of her retirement fund to help fund my contest dreams, because
it takes
Cecilia?
a village. Oh, glory. That's a beautiful thing, Nika. That is, I pause real quick. What is mom's name? Cecilia.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out to Cecilia, because it's mothers like that who believe in us. You're doing something that she couldn't dream for you, right? You're doing something that she wanted desperately for her children to be connected, for her children to be excellent, for her children to be beloved as she loves you. And so what I love is that your mother took great sacrifices to ensure that you did not have the same giants of fear that she had. You didn't fear the water. You knew how to own it. You knew how to swim in it. Then and then also, she consistently put you in environments. Thank God for Cecilia. She put you in environments that didn't necessarily beckon you to come to them. They weren't environments that said, hey, Nika, we got room for you over here, girl. Your mother, Cecilia, was the ballsy one who's like, my daughter's going right over there. She's going over here. My son is going, that she carved out experiences for you. So I just wanted to make sure.
Yeah, I'm so grateful to my mom. I talk to my mom every day, and she's always there for me, like, whether I'm sad or happy. And like you're saying, if it wasn't for her and all the money that she's put into me, because she fully believes in me, and like I said, she's not like rolling in money, but I mean, she's willing. Like I said, she's willing to give up money out of her retirement fund to help my dream, because I know in my heart that I can be a world champion. I know if I finally have the correct funding to be able to make it to all these contests, that I know I can do it. Like, I believe in myself so much, even if other people don't, or even if other people think like you're crazy. I really, really firmly believe that I can do it. I know I can do it. Just like I said.
Where do you get that from? Where do you get that from, Nika? Because there are people who are going to be listening to this, and they're approaching other things in their life. It may not be surfing. Where do you get that? I believe in myself, because then I want us to dive into the environment that you're around and that you're in. I'd be remiss if we didn't talk about what, clearly, I watch surfing. I may not be like this surf fanatic, but I watch surfing, and I've watched it all my life. And there are very few people who look like you in surfing. So I wanted to get to that. So before we get to that, where did you get that?
And this may sound a little bit weird, but I just remember too, when I was younger, there was some show on like Nickelodeon. I don't even know what it was, but I just remember it was like with dealing with the kids, and this host lady would always just be like, the kids are the future, whatever, like the sky, like whatever I forget the exact word she would use, but like the sky's the limit, like whatever you could dream, like you are the future, you can be whatever you can dream you can be. And then, like I said, growing up with my mom always believing in me. And then, like I said, for me to fit in, I felt like I had to be a good athlete. I always felt like the way that I look, I'm not beautiful. I'm not, like I'm not, no.
Wait, pause.
Oh, definitely.
Wait, this is really real. I want us to kind of dive into this. You really thought you weren't beautiful?
Yeah, well, when you go to an all-white, when you live in a
I'm not
pretty
saying this to be
dominant
nasty.
all-white
You're
area
actually
and
stunning.
all-white school, and
Stunning.
nobody ever asks you out, nobody ever wants to, like, you know what I mean? You're just,
Yeah, I do.
you're, and,
I know.
like, yes,
I went to white boarding school, so I knew that I was not
I
pretty.
feel like now
They
with
made sure that I knew
2020,
that I wasn't pretty,
2019,
so I
like
knew I had to
everything
be smart,
changing with like
and I knew I
people
had to have a
coming out saying
winning
they want to be a
personality.
woman when they're a man, or people now that you can have gay marriage, all this other stuff. I feel like the world now is more accepting, but I feel like 10, 15 years ago it wasn't.
Yeah.
And so I would get my hair chemically
Yeah, yeah.
relaxed. I would try to stay out of the sun to be as light as possible. Like I was pretty ashamed
Absolutely.
of. I know people might. I don't know how to. Well, I always felt kind of ashamed, and I honestly, like, I remember telling my mom at times, like, Mom, like,
No,
why
this is
can't I just be
real.
full
This is real.
Mexican like you? Or like, Mom, like, there was a point in my life where I was actually researching because I saw Michael Jackson, and I'm like, there, like, if he can get lighter, like, there has to be a skin lightening cream where I can be lighter too. I don't want to be dark like this. I don't want to have this kind of hair. I don't want to be dark. I felt so much.
Mhm. Yes. Yes. That's the insidious nature of white supremacy, because it tells you everything that you are de facto born, brought to this earth to be. As many standard deviations that you are from that whiteness, therein lies your lack of beauty, your lack of ability, your lack of everything. It's just really interesting. I mean, it's insidious like that, because I felt the same thing, Nika. I remember praying to God that if he just loved me, he would make me white. Because I was just so tired of being treated poorly once I was in all white environments in the United States. Coming from the Bahamas, I am the standard, right? Most people in the Bahamas look like me. So I did not know that I was not beautiful until I came to America and went to boarding schools, and I realized I was not the desired thing. I wasn't the thing that was thought to be pretty or cute. My hair was really wiry and coily. My skin was darker. My nose was broader. So I understand that, but I just want people to hear, because I know us who are sitting on the outside looking at you, you're like nothing I've ever seen. You're stunning, like really like freakishly stunning. So I want people to hear, listen, the insidious nature of white supremacy, that Nique Miller is wanting her skin to be lighter, wanting her hair to be straighter. What she's wanting is not at that point, not now, but I'm just saying, like, that kind of stuff that affects who you are. Of course, right now you're on the other side. Now we're going to sing the song of redemption. But what got you here is I want people to understand what that made you.
Like I said, I don't like to talk about it too much, but I mean, there was one time I remember in school, I talked about this a little bit on an IGTV I did on my thing, like when I was opening up, but there was one point where I was in aerobics class, and we had to run around the school outside, and I was running, and this car pulled up, and I believe they were like juniors or seniors or whatever, but they were calling me the N-word. They were telling me they were going to lynch me. And then they drove off, in high school, and it was just like,
where was this?
And it was just like frustrating, because it's like,
where's this?
I could tell my teacher, but then if I get those kids in trouble, then I'm probably going to get retaliated against. Or if I tell my white friends, they're not going to understand because they're white. They don't really understand the significance of being called the N-word, or that you're going to someone's going to try and kill you. Like, and then do I tell my mom? Because I don't want to I didn't want to embarrass her, for her to think like I'm like kind of like a loser. Like, you know, people are willing to just say, you know, so it's just all this sort of stuff that I kept inside of me, and that just pushed me to do better. Because I was like, okay, at least if I'm a really good athlete, people are going to respect me. You know, like maybe if I'm not beautiful to my classmates, like maybe if I, you know, like nobody wants to date me, no one thinks whatever. At least if I'm a good athlete, people are going to treat me better and are going to be like more, they're just going to be just more stoked on me and more. And I found that when I did really good, when I was getting in into the newspaper, and when I was becoming all state, all county, all that, like, people didn't really look at me as much for the color of my skin. They looked at more at me like, whoa, she's a like badass athlete, you know? So that's what really pushed me to be like I said, with the support of my mom believing in me, and then just being really introverted and being like, okay, I don't ever want someone to be mean to me anymore. Like, I'm going to be the best freaking athlete that I can. And, you know, like, and I just always remember thinking too, like, you know, when I was little, like, one day I'm going to be something. I'm going to be so much bigger than all these people. Just wait till they see me. Like, just wait, like, you know. And then also when I moved to Hawaii, that was the first time in my life where I had people coming up to me being like, oh my God, your skin is so beautiful. Oh my God, your hair. Oh my God. Because like Hawaii is so diverse, and it's such a culture, like very mixed culturally, and it's very much more accepting, so much more aloha here compared to the mainland. And it was the first time in my life, well, first off, I already kind of looked Polynesian. Yeah. So people just were just like, whatever, just another freaking half Hawaiian, half like a Hapa girl, like whatever. And then also, like I said, people, you do. It's so much more sunny here, and it's more of a like ocean outside lifestyle that people are just darker to begin with because they're already outside. So yeah, people just treated me a lot better here, a lot nicer. And it was like I said, the first time I remember the first time a lady was like, "That's right, your skin is so beautiful." I was like looking all around, like, is this lady on crack? Like, does she see? Like, is she really talking about me? Like,
who is she talking to?
Like, what the heck?
Yeah. Yeah, she's really talking about you. I remember my first experience like that too, Nika. The first time that I went to boarding school in Rome after I'd gone through prep school in the Northeast in the United States. And so now I'm in Italy, and I have guys chasing me down the road telling me how beautiful I am, and like I look like a prince and a queen. And I was like, I was not used to anyone who looked European to think that this was beautiful. So it's just so interesting. So I understand, but that's why I don't want you to have to go into anything that's uncomfortable for you to go into. But what I wanted people to understand is the insidious nature of what that does. Like the part of you that didn't want to tell the teacher and didn't want to tell your mother because you didn't want to embarrass them, and then you didn't want to receive the retaliation. Here's the part that's so horrible about it, is that you didn't want to embarrass your mother because you thought since she would see you as a loser. No, the only people who were losers were those jokers who were calling you the N-word. And I think the reason why I just want to I just wanted to bring that together is that, again, is the insidious nature of hate, is that those who receive the hate, we feel the embarrassment of the hate, not the people who actually are administering the hate. So that's why I just wanted to pause and go, look, we cannot be people like that. We cannot do like that to people. Do we see how it breaks the spirit and how it makes you overcome? And then here's the thing. It's awesome that you are remarkable, which we're about to dive into. But you should not have to be remarkable in order to just be at the table. You know, it's kind of like that old Chris Rock joke. We will know that we have reached equality when black people can be just as average as your average white person. You know, when you can, because there's a lot, you are phenomenal. I see what you do. You don't just do, so you are extremely humble. I want people to understand, many people are here, they know you, they don't know me, Nika. But there will be people who will watch this who don't know you. So I want to be clear. This girl is phenomenal. You do stuff on a longboard that I didn't know was possible. You like dance, sister. You dance. You carry me across the dance floor. And I'm like, I didn't know that you could do this. So you are phenomenal, not just as an athlete, but as a creator, as someone who is very insightful, and someone who is,
Thank you.
The word that I'm trying to come up with, it's the word that shows like you're an innovator. That's what I want you to know. You're an innovator. You're doing innovating things on that board, and it's remarkable. And that innovation, that
well, like
spirit,
you were saying, like unfortunately, it's still kind of the same
life,
thing in the surf world. I can't just be average. I have to try and be better, because just being average with the way that I look, I'm not going to get sponsors. I'm not going to get, and it's hard because I don't want to like I feel more confident to speak out, but at the same time, I still
Right.
don't want to quite isolate myself in the surf world because a lot of people want to say it's diverse, but it really isn't. And
Yeah, I want you to talk about that if you don't mind. You don't have to be quiet.
oh
You
no,
don't have to be quiet. You can share whatever you want, but I want you to know we all know it's a bunch of white people,
well,
and we like white people. But we all know that you look very different than anything out there. So I want you to talk to your experience. I think we would be letting people down if we didn't tell the truth of your experience. How did you get into this world? Like, what made you go, you know what? I'm going to pursue this. I'm going to be a
because I
professional. I
kind
want
of
to take
saw
this to the next level.
in
It's not
general,
just
there's
something
less
I'm good
women
at.
surfers
I want to
than
pursue this as a
like
professional
women
pursuit.
runners or women like whatever other sport, because you can only do surfing in so many places around the world. You have to be by the ocean. You know, you can't be surfing in Nebraska or, you know, Colorado. So yeah. So and I ended up being, I'm generally pretty athletic, so I
Right.
ended up
It's
being
hard.
super
It's
good at
hard.
surfing. And like I
Yeah,
said,
yeah.
it's just surfing is such a different experience than anything I've ever done. It's so freeing, and it's just, I feel like I'm at home, and it's something I can do when I'm upset or whatever. Like, it always makes me feel really good. And I when I got it, thank you.
You look at home.
But yeah, I just really loved it, and I just
You make me feel
remember
good looking at you.
I remember seeing Kalia Moniz and Crystal Walsh at the time, and I just remember just thinking how beautiful they were, and at surfing, like you were saying how like I was dancing on the longboard. A lot of girls can do the same. I mean, maybe not a lot of darker skin like me, but I mean, there's a lot of the best surfers in the world can do that I compete against. Yeah.
Can do that. I didn't know that.
I remember seeing it and just being like,
I
wow,
was
I really want to get good at this. And then
then
it wasn't until the last 2 years that I kind of started being like, oh, I can kind of build like a brand off myself. Like, I can find a niche in this so that I can start being kind of, because also before people had told me like, oh, you should try being a model. And the same thing from growing up, I was like, yeah, right. First off, look at me, like my color of my skin. Second off, I'm really short. Third off, I don't have boobs. Like, you know, like, yeah, me be a model. Sure.
your body is kind of ridiculous. My husband and I were enjoying it. We're both like,
well,
look
no,
at her
so
body.
then
Look at this girl's body. Like,
probably
and my husband were like,
2018,
her body's ridiculous.
is ending of 2018, 2019, that's when my life really shifted, and I started getting more sponsorships. I started getting more brand and like modeling type gigs, which then that
Did you find the environment to be a hard environment to when you had that idea, like, I'm
not
branding
really.
myself,
Not until this year with Black Lives
Did you
Matter
find the
and the whole
environment to be
protest.
one that was welcoming of someone who
I
looked
feel like
you?
that's really what was like, oh, diversity. It's trendy and cool. Like, you know, I before was just like, not sure.
What did you initially feel
what
that their
to do
response
with
was
me
to you,
exactly?
Nika?
Like, kind of like, well, just kind of uncertain and just kind of just it was just kind of unspoken.
Did they ever tell you
and
why they were uncertain?
brands,
was it like
they
an
just were looking
unspoken
more
no?
for
Like,
the
we all
kind of
know what we're talking about.
stereotypical like white blonde haired very skinny like type of look. Blue Crush. Yeah, they were just kind of looking more for that type. And I feel like up until 2019, 2020 was when a lot of people were just saying, like, I feel like a lot of people got confident to speak out and be like, no, like, we don't want to see this anymore. We want to actually see, like, everyday bodies, like, all shapes and sizes, all skin tones. And even now, like, there's still not a huge representation of Polynesian, of Black, of Hispanic, of Asian. And the super messed up part is that surfing originated from Polynesians. Surfing originated from Polynesians
Right.
and Hawaiian surfers. Like, this is a Hawaiian sport.
Listen. I know. They
And it's a
invented
pretty
this.
predominant East Coast
It's kind of like
white
lacrosse.
sport.
Lacrosse was invented by the Native Americans.
Very wealthy, yeah.
When's the last time you saw a whole Native American team? White, preppy, wealthy game, isn't it? Yeah, it is. It was interesting when my coach taught me that. I think I was a freshman in high school, and it was a white male coach, and he taught me that it was created by Native Americans, and they used to play it over miles and miles of territory. And I was like, what? And because it's a sport that has landed squarely in the preppy white world. And so it's very much, we were just talking about that in our family, and we are a mixed family. And my husband and I were talking with our daughter about interviewing you, and she was so excited about it because she sees herself in you, Nika. She sees herself in you, and she says, Mom, I want to do that. I want to learn how to do that. And so thank you for being that. And my husband was saying, like, hey, this is, just so you know, this is a sport that was actually created by Polynesians.
No,
by
and
the
it's really frustrating because my boyfriend is actually Hawaiian born here, and he talks about it all the time and just how frustrated. Because also, I'm not sure if you know, but there's a long history in Hawaii too, kind of oppression. Sorry, I was trying to say of oppression, and yeah. And of the islands, you know, being forcefully taken, you know, Hawaii never wanted to be part of the U.S. You know, the Queen was locked in the palace, and businessmen signed the treaty to make Hawaii part of the states. But there's already a long, it's just, this is kind of just the gist of it. There's a whole, like, if you read up on it, it's actually pretty messed up what they did.
I didn't know that.
They made the kids stop speaking Hawaiian in school. They would beat them. So the language almost got lost. Hula was like banned, all this stuff, like, because they wanted, because they looked at it as I forget the word, kind of like evil, like, well, no, like what they were doing was unnatural, like, you know, the women dressed so, not having a lot of clothes and dancing like that. Yeah, so it's just in general, Hawaii plus surfing, the way that it's being kind of brought up as not a pollen to the Aboriginal people.
That sounds very similar to what they did in Australia. Yeah, to the Aboriginals. It sounds very similar, like what you're saying. Like, they try to take the language, they try to beat it, try to keep it, like, there's a generation called the lost or stolen generation where they're like brought in the house, adopted by white families, and
my boyfriend speaks on it a lot too, like just how frustrated he gets. He doesn't compete, but just in general, a Hawaiian born and raised here, just how he feels like just like kind of getting his culture taken, you know, and just getting it like, so it's something that I think that isn't talked about a lot, and like I said, surfing is so predominantly looked at as like it was started in California or it was started in Australia, and it was not, you know, and it's not true, and it's just frustrating because I've seen so many amazing Hawaiian local girl surfers here that don't get the same sort of respect either, you know, and again, they're not even as dark as me, but they're not white, but it's starting to get better, like I said, ever since the protests and the Black Lives Matter movement, but it
when you say it's starting to get better, what does that look like?
So I definitely noticed more brands kind of like picking up.
I want to know
for example, I got sponsored by Billabong Surf. I'm not sure if you know that. That's you. I'm the first Black. Well, I'm half Black, half Mexican. I usually just say Black because it's a little bit easier because I just generally look Black. But I'm the first Afro Latina, girl to get sponsored by them. So that was
There.
pretty big. And then
Yeah,
Roxy,
biracial.
the same thing. They're starting to get more Hawaiian girls on the team, and even those brands are starting to use more Black models on the site, like modeling the clothes. Which again, before, years ago, it was only white girls, you know, like super thin. Which
That's huge.
it's like sometimes for me, it's I don't know about you, but it's hard. It's like, well, is that bikini gonna look good on me?
Right,
like, yeah, maybe it looks good on her, but is it gonna look good on my skin tone? You know, like, so my like, I actually, like, my that was the thing too in high school. I always just remember being like, oh my god, my thighs touch. Like, I remember trying not to eat at lunch so that I could be super skinny, because I was like, oh, my thighs touch. Oh my god, I have a butt. Oh, like, I know I don't want any of it. Like, before having a butt now is super amazing.
Yes. Because,
I mean, now it's super trendy and everyone wants a big butt, but like before it was like,
and the thing is, our butts are
bigger. I was like,
deal with it. They look good. Yeah. But back then, I get it, and I'm older than you. I'm way older than you. I'm like 3 times your age older than you. So I know what that means to constantly feel like here's the standard of beauty, and you're so many standard deviations from it, you can't even begin. I know it's hard. It hits you really hard. So what you're seeing right now, though, is you're seeing more big brands willing to sponsor people who look like you,
and I'm
or
so
who
grateful,
look like
because
native
Billabong has always been
people,
my dream
and that's
brand,
pretty damn amazing.
And
that's good. They're
it was like
their
a
money
dream
where their
come
mouth
true. And they had even, I'm not really just something I've always liked since I was younger, and just their clothes. I've always liked their clothes and their bikinis, and it just, I don't know, like, I liked Roxy and I liked Rip Curl, but it was just something about Billabong.
I always wear their clothes too.
It just resonated with me more, and it was just my dream. And when they reached out to me too, and when they fully sponsored me, like, now they're paying me and I'm on contract, but they had specifically told me, like, hey, you know, we want to do better by our brand. We want to start having more diversity, and we want to start having more talks and get more insight from you, you know, and like how you feel. So I definitely, like, hope I'm, like, trying to be a voice for other girls that look like me, that like Billabong, you know.
Yeah. Can I just tell you something? You don't even have to hope. That's what you are doing. In fact, that's the beautiful part about you living your life, and living your life with bravery and boldness, is that the spaces that you walk into, you don't have to hope that you're opening up doors for other people. You, in fact, are. You don't have to hope that you're speaking into a room of things that are important to other people who look like you. You are. You're sitting at the table. Speak, sister, speak. Don't get quiet. What are you doing to support yourself and feel protected in these largely these environments that hadn't been overly welcoming of those who look like you? I just recently interviewed another lady, and she was coming from a very white world, and now her reflection of, like, what she needs to do to create protection for herself. Because what she said was, Shay, I realized that I had spent a lot of time in a lot of rooms that were not safe for me.
Well, I know particularly
so what are you
too,
doing to
when Black Lives Matter happened, a lot of brands started reaching out to me, and a lot of brands where I was just like, you never ever wanted to talk to me before, but now, and you're asking me, like, oh, what can we do? I'm not sure. And in my head, I'm like, it's not that difficult. You just reach out to more ethnic people on your page. Like, it just, like, so I've been kind of, like, really being picky and choosy which brands, which, like, magazines, what, like, interviews and stuff I do, because at first I was, like, hopping on everything, because I was like, oh, finally I can talk. But then I was like, dude, you just want to, like, use me just to say that, just so that you can say you have some, like, oh, we have diversity. And I'm just like, no,
traipse me out there.
Yeah, I'm like, where were you when I could barely afford to go to
Talk to black
Spain, when I
people.
was ranked third
Yeah.
in the world and I
There
had a
she
chance
is.
of
Her
winning
name
the
is
world
Nique
title?
Miller.
Like,
There's
where
our
were you?
diversity.
I had to make a GoFundMe page, which I felt embarrassed about because I felt like people are going to be like, oh my God, she's so lazy. And at this time I was working 5-6 days a week from 8 in the morning to 5. And I just remember feeling so embarrassed, like, oh my God, I have to make a GoFundMe. Like, this is so embarrassing. People are going to think I'm, yeah,
And you're ranked third in the world. Pause. I just need everybody to hear this. This young lady was ranked third in the world. And essentially, she had to go around with a collection plate asking people to support her to get her there so that she could valiantly
yeah, I made it
compete
there.
on behalf
Thankfully,
of
to
us.
all the people that
This is
donated. Thank you
crazy.
guys
It's
for
crazy to me.
donating and helping.
Did you
But
make it there?
but after that, you know, it's I've had so many other contests that the same thing. It was just like, I'm working my butt off. My mom's helping me, but I'm still having to rack up debt on my credit card that now this year I was able to pay it all off. But to compete on the world tour is super expensive, especially flying out of Hawaii. You know, most of these contests are either 7 days to a 10-day holding period because you need to surf during the best waves. So so hotel, food, transportation, air. I'm not sure if we said airfare. You have to
So
bring your surfboard
hotel,
on the
food,
plane, which costs
accommodation,
anywhere from
all these
$50 to
things. Yes.
$100 each way. You know, you can't just get a normal taxi. You have to get a taxi that fits your surfboard. You know, like it. Most of my contests that aren't within Hawaii or California, anything that's like further out, usually costs around $2,000. You know, on top of that's a lot of money on top of my rent, you know, that I have to make sure is taken care of. So it's unless you're coming from a wealthy family, it's really, and if you don't have sponsors, now luckily I finally have sponsors like that are fully covering everything. So before that, it was like, and it's funny because there'd be times where people would be like, oh, why didn't you do that contest? And again, I felt embarrassed because I didn't have money to do it. And I would just be like, oh, I couldn't get off of work. I just couldn't do it. Like, they really needed me. Or there would be times where I was like, well, I'm just going to have to tell my landlord I'm going to be late on rent, and I would be super late, you know? Or there'd be times where I'm like, well, looks like I'm only just going to be eating spaghetti and peanut butter and jelly because I can't really afford to get other food because I need to save all my money for contests. Like, yeah, it's just, people don't really know the struggles I had to go through to be able to compete on the world tour. Like sleeping at the airport, like, people have no idea. Like, it's...
No. You know what? You know what's really amazing to me as I'm hearing this, and I want you to continue. One, I just want to tell you, thank you so much for being vulnerable and real, because that's where people's lives are changed. You are changing people's lives by them hearing about your difficulties and your persistent suppressing. I just want you to know that. Your life is more powerful than the years you were allotted. You are giving power and strength to other people as they live their lives. So thank you. But I want to say this real quick. It's just interesting to me when we make competition, to really want to be in competition. Shouldn't you want to compete against the best? Shouldn't you want to actually compete against the best, right? So when you don't make the best able to actually come and sit at the table, then you have a watered-down competition. It's just kind of like in sports when they didn't let black people play in sports. I was like, well, you didn't really want to be the best. You just wanted to be the best in your little circle? Because if you really wanted to be the best, bring on the black guy. Bring on the Asian girl. Bring them on. Let me compete against them. And don't get mad if your ass gets kicked, because that's what competition does. It brings us all up, right? That's your friend? No, I want you to do that. So it's just interesting to me that when you were not able to go to these competitions, when you were not able to go to these places because finances precluded you, do we understand that we brought down the level of competition? We brought it down. We basically made it only the people who are competing are not necessarily the best. They're the ones who have the most money and who can actually get there. That's not actually that's not.
And you know, the even more like ironic part
those
is
who can get there. I want to
when I had to work So I was working from 8 or 9 to like 5 in the evening. So when I'm working 5 days a week, what does that mean? I get less time to practice. So then my skill level goes down because these other girls are able to practice all day whenever they want, but I have to work to be able to. Yeah, so it was just like, it was so frustrating because it was like, frick, I have to work to make money, but then I don't have enough time to practice. And it was just like, oh my God, like, can I just get a break? Like, can I just please just get a freaking break? Like,
yeah. What did you do when you got to those moments?
Nothing. Well, nothing. I just had to keep going because what am I going to do? Give up? And then what?
Can I just
like,
get a break?
Like I said, when I was little, I like told myself I'm not going to be like these kids, like no offense to any of them, but like I'm not going to be like these kids that just stick at home and just stay there and get married and have kids. I mean, that's totally cool, whatever, but I'm not going to be live here and then die here, I'm going to do something with my life. So in those moments where I'm just like, oh, can I have a break? It's just like, what am I going to do? Give up? No, like I can't, like, no, like I've already. No, there was points where I cried a lot with my mom and got frustrated. Like, Mom, why am I not good enough? Why did no brand, like, I don't understand. I'm surfing. I feel like I'm surfing really well. I'm ranked higher than a lot of these girls who have full sponsors. Like, I just remember telling my mom, like, what's wrong with me? Like, I don't understand. Like, just getting like that, But like I said, I've always had my mom there for me, and she's no matter, like, I'll call her in the middle of the night. Like, she always answers. She's always there for me. And yeah, I'm just very lucky for that. And I'm lucky for my boyfriend too. He's been very supportive. He's given me money for me to help go to contests, and it's just, I can't afford to not give up, Like, I just don't really have that option, because then I'll feel like my life was kind of, I know it sounds dramatic, but kind of wasted, Like, I can't really afford that. I've already spent so much money too. I've already put in so much time, like, just to give it up to do what? To go have a desk job? Like, I'm not going to be happy. Like, yeah, I just can't.
Right. You know what you're doing? You're naturally doing what Viktor Frankl teaches in his book, Man's Search for Meaning. Viktor Frankl posits that man needs 3 things to have a sense of purpose and meaning in his life, in her life. Man, being humankind, man needs to have a reason to get up in the morning, something to put their hands to, something that they have to do. And this is surfing. This is a vocation for you. This is more than just like I'm riding some waves. I hear it, sister. Second thing man needs to exist in community. Man needs to love unconditionally and be loved unconditionally. And here is where you are doing what Viktor Frankl teaches. And you're doing it extraordinarily, and you're doing it naturally. Viktor teaches the third thing is that man needs to be able to look at their difficulties and hardships through a redemptive lens. That's what you're doing. You acknowledge, man, it's hard. But what else could I do? At some point, you had to dig in and go, no. But this is creating in me a knowing that I can do hard stuff. I can do the hardest stuff, and I can keep going.
And I know because I've had so many people tell me, like, when I told people, like, I'm gonna, like, when I just really decided in my head, like, I'm gonna get sponsored by Billabong, I'm gonna do it, and I would tell people that, and they would just be like, yeah, okay, like, I don't know, maybe you should try for a smaller brand, or like maybe you should try for this or that, and I'm like, no, I really believe I can do it. And it's just like, yeah, like, people just, I just felt like they couldn't dream as big as me, and I'm just like, no,
it's not awesome how people give you smaller dreams to reach for.
And now, look, it happened. It took a while. I worked my butt off for it, but it's like,
yeah, you're a young, beautiful woman who has a lot of life in front of you. And you know what? Good on Billabong. They just got some of the best stuff ever. You are about to do, I'm not kidding, mark my words.
I hope so.
People. You are about to do for surfing what Tiger Woods did for golfing. There are going to be throngs, I'm telling you, there are going to be throngs of kids of little brown-skinned girls from all over the world
Thank
who
you.
are doing this
I
and are doing it at a level that
thank
no one
you.
has ever seen.
That's what I want.
You did it,
I
girl.
want to, because I've had so many messages
That's a
as
beautiful
my
thing.
platform grows of people telling me like, wow, I've never seen a black surfer. I've never seen a Hispanic surfer. Or like, wow, I've always wanted to try surfing, but people told me like, you can't do it. It's a white person sport. And in my head, well, also too, like as much as I talk crap about growing up around like white people, like my brother's half white, like he has a different dad, you know, like I totally, I I almost got kind of used to it being the only one that looked like me in the sports I did, and like I said, being in my
it's not about
like high school and middle school, to a point I was just like, I almost didn't even, I was like, whatever. So to me, doing surfing, it was just another like, whatever. I already know I'm gonna look not like everybody else, you know, whatever. I don't even care. And the same thing, like I said, I always thought like, if I'm really good at it, people are gonna have to respect me, you know, like whatever. And surfing is kind of cool like that too. Well, I know I've heard people say they've had experiences where they felt racism. I never have personally within surfing. Usually, well,
well, you have, because you didn't get, you saw other people getting promoted and getting full sponsorships who
no, that's
were
what
white.
I meant to say, like directly, like
so,
someone
I mean,
was
you may
like,
not have had
oh,
somebody
like, you know,
directly
black
call
girl
you,
beat it, or like,
you
no, get out of the water.
that.
I've never had that type of experience, like full.
Oh yeah.
Here and there I've heard of it, but I've never had that. I've only had people treat me, if
But
you're
you've heard
a
of other
good surfer,
people
especially
having
more
that
in Hawaii, if you're a good surfer, you get respect. If you're a crappy surfer, beat it, you know, like get out of the way, you know. And so I'm not even sure what I was like, what this whole point was, but
I love it.
But yeah, like the same thing in surfing, like I feel like if I'm a really good surfer, people are going to respect me. And yeah, hopefully I can, well, I want to inspire other people to get into the water and not feel like, oh my gosh, I look like this, like I can't surf. Like, no, you can do whatever your heart, like whatever you dream you want to do, you can do it. And I feel like surfing should reflect that too. Like whether you're brown, yellow, purple, polka dot, as long as you're a good surfer, you should get sponsored and you should get treated like you're a good surfer, not just because of the way you look, you know? And
you're a good surfer. Right, because of the competition point. If you're excellent,
it makes me feel so happy.
If you're excellent.
I love surfing so much. I love getting better at surfing.
Make you feel?
Like many people tell me I'm like really good now, but to me I'm like, no, until I'm a world champion. And even when I'm a world champion, like I feel like you can always get better. Until I'm holding up the world trophy, the world title trophy, which
you're not a world champion.
No,
you
I'm
look
going
like a world
to do
champion to me.
one day.
Is it just because I'm ignorant?
Regardless, however long it takes, I'm going to do it.
Yes, I get it. I know. Hey, I know it. I believe it. I believe in you, and I believe that. Will you still remember me when you get there? Seriously. Tell me, but if you were to describe,
it's like
the
you're
feeling
connected
of
with Mother Nature because you're in the ocean, which is such a powerful force of water. Like I said, the ocean doesn't discriminate. It's not, you know, whether you're white or brown or black, the ocean's going to treat you exactly the same. So already to me, it's just so amazing to be surrounded by something that just treats everyone the same. And on top of it, it's so relaxing because you're not only in the ocean, you have the sun, you have whatever little wildlife is underneath. In Hawaii, it's very special because there's so many turtles that pop up. I've seen monk seals, manta rays, but to no, but I mean, I definitely would not want to surf in South Africa because I've seen and heard a lot more like shark attacks there, and maybe in parts of Australia I would definitely feel like questionable, but here in Hawaii, at least in Waikiki, it's generally super safe. I'm more afraid of beginner tourists than I am of sharks because like I said, if people that don't take a surf lesson, they have to realize that, you know, you're on a surfboard, which if
Yeah.
not used properly, it could be a weapon. You know, it's like these really big, I got hit by a guy about 5 months ago. Can I show you?
Oh, yeah.
Hold on. Let me see if I can flip this so you can see. Do you see that?
Oh. Yes, please.
Sorry. I'm trying to like extend my leg.
Oh, I do. Oh, my gosh.
Yeah,
Yes,
so a guy, his board actually went through my knee. It hit my tendon. It sprained my knee. I had to get 25 stitches. I couldn't walk for a month. I had to go to rehab for 2 months. But yeah, I see it happen all the time. The beginners, because sometimes people are like, oh, I don't want to pay $100 for a surf lesson. I just want to rent a board for $10 and go out there. And they just go out there. They don't know what they're doing. Their waves are crashing on them. Their boards are flying everywhere, hitting people. No. So if anyone's on here and if you want to learn how to surf, definitely take a lesson first. Don't be that cheap person because yeah, that could have been a career-ending injury, you know. And like I said, the guy was perfectly fine, but you know, I was in the water. There was blood everywhere. The lifeguards had to come and get me. I had to go to the emergency room. Yeah. Kind of. He seemed like, oh, sorry. Like
did he realize
he didn't fully get it. Like he wasn't here in my apartment while I was in pain and I couldn't move. My boyfriend had to hold a bull under me so I could go to the bathroom because I couldn't even walk, you know. I was in so much pain. Yeah. But anyways, getting back to the more positive of how surfing makes you feel. But yeah, it's just when you actually catch a wave, it just feels so incredible. You're just like sliding down this wave with speed and you're just so exhilarating. It's almost kind of like a roller coaster ride, except not as steep, and it's just so beautiful. I love it so much. I think it's such a healing and relaxing sport, and it's a good way to exercise without actually feeling like you're exercising. But yeah, gosh, until you surf, I feel like you can't even fully grasp it, just how amazing it feels, especially when you're able to finally catch your first wave and you're like, oh, I did it. Like, it feels so good. Mm-hmm.
I can do this all day long. Mm-hmm. I love that. Nika, tell me this. There's two questions that are beating in my head for you. One is, what is the legacy that you hope you are creating or building right now?
That she was one of the what do you call it?
People are thinking about you 50 years from now, and they're going to be
like a pioneer. She was like one of the pioneers of not of women surfing, because obviously there were so many women before me, but of Afro. Because I consider both being half black, half Mexican. Like I don't consider I'm more, you know, of one. So I want to be a pioneer of like Hispanic and black female surfing, because I think it's very important that I not only inspire African American or black women, but that I inspire Hispanic women. Because like I said, I was raised only around my Hispanic side of my family and my mom, and I'm extremely proud of being half Mexican. So I want to be a pioneer for Mexican and black female surfers, and just to know that I did it. Like I was super stylish. Like that's why I always try within my surfing. I don't want to just be, you know, your average longboarder girl. Like I want to do different type of moves and just be super unique and just super iconic. Like I just want people to remember me and not just like you said, a couple years down the road, a different black girl comes and they're just like, oh, she was the main, you know, star. Like, no, that's why I'm like, I want to be, because like I said, I'm very competitive, and yeah, I hope people remember that. I hope people remember that I was genuine and humble, because I absolutely hate when people are like they think they're the shit or whatever. I hate that. I hate that so much, you know. And
Snooty. Mhm. Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-mm.
You know why? Because it's forgetful. It's forgetful because no one gets where they are by themselves. No one
Oh
gets
yeah,
there
I'm
by
very.
themselves. Wherever you see a person standing, they got there because somebody
Oh,
helped them get there. A whole bunch of somebody.
no, I owe
So
a lot to a
that's why
lot
it's
of
deplorable
people.
when
Like I
you see
said,
it
my
because you're like,
mom
it's not
first off,
truthful. It's
my
not authentic. It's
boyfriend,
not real.
my and like the people who donated for my GoFundMe. I wouldn't have been able to make it to Spain without you
Mm.
guys. Like I everyone that's believed in me, all my friends here in Waikiki, the ones that do believe in me, and
Yeah.
all my
Yeah.
followers. I have so many really amazing followers that are always super supportive and always rooting for me. I owe so much to so many people. My
I
my
know you do.
grandpa, my oh my gosh, I could name so many different people and so many different interactions that I had that like like I feel like everything happens for a reason. I've whether I met this person and I ended up getting this connection from them or what, like whatever. I'm a firm believer that everything, like happens the way it does from the universe or whatever. So, but yeah, I was just gonna say I'm very grateful for everyone
Yeah.
that's helped me and everyone that continues to support me and like
You know what's
like
really,
platforms like this
go
that
ahead.
allow me to speak and tell my story. And yeah, I'm grateful for you. I'm grateful
Yeah.
for this.
Well, thank you. I feel so honored. While you were talking, I was like, yes, she's going to do that. That is part of the legacy that she's going to leave. That brown girls, Latina girls, black girls, Polynesian girls, other children of color, girls of color are going to see themselves. But you know what's also going to happen? Because I know how time does. There are also going to be a whole bunch of people who don't look nothing like you, who you also inspire. Because those of us who are of color, we had to be inspired to do a lot of what we did. I think to what Condoleezza Rice said one time, Condoleezza Rice said, listen, when you are a black person, you have had to be essential. I'm giving you the gist of what she says. When you are a black person, you have had to be very creative because you have had to look at people who never looked anything like you and be inspired by them. So that's what you are about to do, young lady. Not only are you going to give a lot of brown people who look like you a lot of hope and a lot of
I
little
hope
girls who
so.
look like you that
One of
they
my
can do it,
biggest
but
inspirations is
eventually
Stephen
they're going to be little white
Prefontaine.
boys
He
going,
was
I
a
want to be
runner
like
back in the
Nique
70s,
Miller.
pre
You will be.
in Oregon. Yeah, I
Yeah.
have a poster of him back home up in my room, and I had
Yes,
videos of him. I would watch
Oregon.
him. He was, to this day,
Yes.
he's one of my biggest inspirations, and just how he. Mm-hmm.
So he
Yeah,
transcended.
and how determined
See,
he was,
he
and
just
how
became a figure
he set his
that
own
you
path.
saw
He didn't,
the reach, the power
regardless,
of
like
the
his
reach
coach
in.
telling him to run a certain way, he kind of
Mhm.
ran the way he wanted. Like, he was so inspirational to me. I adore He was forever one of my. I wish I could meet him, if he was still alive. But
Yeah.
yeah, I hope, and that's the thing too. Like, I want to
I do
inspire
too.
everybody. Not, I mean, of course,
I know.
Mexican
I know.
women and boys and black, but people who are poor. Like, I want people to be like, dude, you can come from nothing and make it. Like,
Yeah.
trust me, I know. Yeah,
And if I'm going to be honest, most of the
yeah,
really great people
but
come from nothing. Those are the greatest. They are the greatest amongst us. Yeah. Tell me this,
well,
a year from now,
hopefully coronavirus chills
or
out and I'm
where do
able to
you want to
actually
see your life? A
compete
year from now,
next year,
snapshot.
because 2020 they canceled all of our events. So if
Praise
pretending
God. Yeah.
coronavirus doesn't exist anymore,
Please
2021,
God.
I want to be competing in
Mhm.
all the contests. I want to be top. Now, like I said, now that I'm finally able to make all the longboard events, I want to be at least ranked in the top 10. I definitely give myself goals. I don't just right off the bat be like, oh, I want to be world champion. Like, I know that I have to take baby steps, like and that's also why too, so I don't get super frustrated, like, oh frick,
Yeah.
I didn't do it. Like, I give myself smaller goals
Mhm.
at first, so I want to be next year ranked in the top 10.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you
So
also
I
have
want
the
to
feeling of success. You need
hopefully
to have
get
those feelings of success to
top
keep
10
you
in the
encouraged to
world.
keep moving on. Yeah.
Hopefully pick up some other bigger
Top 10 in the
sponsors.
world.
There's
I got my eye on you.
I don't want to have I want to have enough so that I can
Because I don't even
fully
know how many sponsors
compete and
should a
just focus on
surfer want to
surfing,
have
but I don't want to have
for
so
me.
many that my platform just becomes promoting this product, promoting that product, promoting like I
Yes.
want my platform to be about me and my surfing and my story, not just
Yes.
like, oh, buy this bikini, oh, buy this, like, whatever.
Yeah.
I would say I would 4 to 5. I have
So
two
is that about
major
three,
sponsors right now,
4?
and then I have two smaller ones that are
4 to
one's
5.
like a cafe that gives me like food every day, which I'm stoked on because I ate there even before. So they're not so much supplying me with money, but supplying me with something that I love and would get even whatever. But yeah, I would say have like 2 more major sponsors.
Yes.
I can't say the other one yet. 'Cause I can announce it in January.
For the big sponsors right now, Billabong and
yeah, but one I'm keeping.
Yeah, okay.
So there's 2 more that I really want to get. One I want to keep a secret because sometimes I've noticed too. I've noticed with my platform growing, you have to be careful sometimes. People you tell your dreams or the people you surround. I just had to like get rid of someone who was using me for clout and using me to get certain contacts and stuff. Like that's something I've realized. You have to be, the bigger you get or whatever, you have to be very careful, or just small. You just have to be careful who you surround yourself with, because certain people are only in it for themselves. Certain people aren't genuinely your friend. They're only in it to like, ooh, how can I get this from this person or whatever. So that's something I had to learn this year. Well, I've had a couple of those people, but this year I really had to learn it. Like, be really careful who you let into your life, because some of these people are not in it for, but yeah. So one brand that I want to go after, I don't want to say because I'm not even trying. But the other one, I really want to try to go after an airline. I think if I could get an airline backing me, that would be like, it'd be so easy to travel to these contests. Hawaiian Air or Southwest or Delta or United all come here. So that's something I've been really like, okay, like especially Southwest. I really like flying Southwest, but
I would love you on Southwest or America. I'm calling this one.
Thank you.
I want you to get Southwest and Hawaii. Those are the 2 I want. I'm calling it. I'm speaking it. I'm speaking it. That's what I see for my sister. I see it. Those are. I was like, not like anything's wrong here, but I like the vibe of Southwest. I love it. I love riding them. They're always so damn funny on the mic. They're hilarious, right? I like the feeling. So I want you to get Southwest, and I'm pulling for Hawaii Air. I am. I'm pulling for those 2. I think you would look amazing too as the face of it. I mean, like, for real, you're ridiculously looking. Okay, I know that I've kept you a lot of time. I'm going to ask my questions to end it. I want to tell you real quick.
Oh, yes, no, thank you very much for letting me. Like I said, I'm very grateful for you and other platforms that let me speak. It has been a pleasure for you. It just helps people, I guess, know a little bit more about me. I don't ever want to be those fake influencers where you're like, are they even real? Like, is this like a robot just posting pictures? Like I want people to see that I'm a real person. I have real feelings. I've freaking had super hard struggles, so platforms like you where people can hear me speak and just kind of know me, because I'm pretty shy. If you were to like meet me in person, I would not talk to anybody, but I just want, I want people to just see me and my story, and that you can do it and you can believe in yourself, whatever your dreams are. Don't let anyone ever. No.
Are you writing a book?
No, that's
because I saw somebody say that they want to see your book. I was like, oh, is she writing a book? I need to talk about that. Not yet. I see it for you though. I do. Here are some. So there's this one of my favorite shows I used to love watching is called Inside the Actor's Studio with James Lipton. So I like to end my interviews in the spirit of James Lipton, just these fireball questions.
Like
What
the waves
sound or
crashing
noise
on
do you
the
love?
shore. I think it sounds so beautiful and peaceful.
Yes, I love that.
I'm sorry, can you ask that last one? It kind of froze.
Agreed. What sound or noise?
What do you call
sound
it?
or
The
noise
not the
love?
police sirens. What's the thing that the ambulance sirens? Because usually it means someone's hurt or something bad's not. Usually something bad's happening.
The ambulance siren. Someone's not happy.
Aloha.
That's true. What is your favorite word?
The F word.
Aloha. What is your
I love that. What the
What is your favorite curse word?
The F word.
It's a good one. It's a good one.
Being a runner or a lacrosse player.
If you weren't doing
one of
what
the
you're
two.
doing
Probably
right
running.
now,
I love running. Well, before it's hard because surfing takes a lot of energy out of you, and so does running. But running kind of gives you that same feeling, like when you're just like that relaxing, freeing feeling, and when you're done, it's just like, oh, like I love running, and I love beating people when I was running.
Yeah. I know. I love it.
I don't drink. I had a really bad child.
Yeah,
So my
fun.
ex-stepfather, and
wine or whiskey?
Alcohol can change people, and I don't like the physical abuse that sometimes comes with it. So yeah, I don't drink. I've never drank. So water. I think you should always stay hydrated.
Yeah. I love that. I love that. I love it. Water. I love you. Okay, here's the last question, Nika.
Your grandma's and your grandpa's waiting over there.
What do you want God to say when you get there?
My tattoo on my arm is of my grandma. I was so close to her. I miss her very much. And I miss my grandpa Wegner, who is actually technically my step grandpa, but he was pretty much my dad. You know, he taught me how to drive. Like I said, my brother has a different dad. So he was my white grandpa, but he never saw my color. He treated me exactly the same. He taught me how to drive. He took me to all my orthodontist appointments. He would watch me and my brother when my mom had to work her other jobs. So I really miss them. So if I were to go to heaven, I'd want God to be like, oh, you know, your grandma Martine, my mom's grandma, my Hispanic grandma, and your grandpa Wegner are over there waiting over there to see you.
Your abuela. Yeah. Well, I am certain that will happen. Nika, you keep doing exactly what you're doing. You're making huge differences in people's lives beyond even the surfing world.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much.
And I want you to know that I am honored to be sharing this world at the same time that you're here, young lady.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You have a beautiful day.
Thank you so much for having me. And thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Thank you guys for watching.
Thank you, Nika. You have
Bye.
Merry Christmas.